This week's episode of Merlin, the Dark Tower. Okay, I'll start at the beginning. I have a hard time because I'm still really focusing on the end, of that. But beginning. Okay, look at my notes. In the beginning, I really love the banter with Gwen and the Knights, especially with Elian, because, we're always like, they're brother and sister, don't they have any interaction? Be like, look, brother, let's have sibling love. And so we had some of that. Like, can you just tell me who you love, Elian? Ha ha ha. And, like, the banter with Gwen saying he only loves himself. I like that. I liked the beginning with all that banter. And I liked, after they were attacked, by those wonderful snakes that remind me of Valiant. Then when Arthur's face, when he finds out Gwen is missing, it's just, I just wanted to hug him. And then when, Merlin's coming in, without knocking, to come comfort him, he's like, leave, Merlin. And he's like, I'm just kidding, come back here, I need to talk about my feelings, let's hug. And promises, when Gwen says that Arthur's not stupid, that he won't fall into a trap. And I'm like, well, sometimes he is kind of stupid, darling. He still doesn't know Merlin has magic. It's quite obvious a lot of the time. And if he'll save you, even if he's coming into a trap. Do you remember the episode Lancelot and Guinevere? It was just him and Merlin against, like, everyone else. He always comes after you, Gwen. So I don't know why you would think that he wouldn't this time. The dark room. Right away, I'm like, oh, because Morgana was in the dark for so long, she's gonna manipulate Gwen that way, too. But I don't know. I don't like being in the dark by myself. That would be pretty scary. Especially what happens later on in the episode. The Elian and Gwen have feelings for each other. Oh, sibling relationships and stuff. Because Elian's being all like, she raised me, and I wouldn't be who I was without her today. And you're like, oh, look at all those loves. I'm liking it. You can actually tell that they're siblings and are interacting like that. Well, not even to each other, but he's talking to his brother-in-law. It'd be pretty awesome to have the king as brother-in-law, Get those feels out. And then scary dreams, and then Arthur, or the Knights having all those scary dreams about the Dark Tower. The two that were bit by the snake. Apparently, you can definitely tell Morgana's leading them there. And then Arthur seeking Merlin's advice. I never get tired of the Merthyr bromance. I like it when he goes to Merlin. So I'm good with that. The dreamy stuff, drippy stuff reminds me of the Mandrake. And when we find out later in the episode it's the Mandrake, I'm like, I knew it! It's making you crazy. Like, Uther was scary, seeing all those drowned children and grain and stuff, and the opener of season 3? Yeah, I was so proud of myself. Reminds me of the round table moment. Oh, when all the knights, like, Arthur's like, I'm gonna go to the Dark Tower alone. And I'm always like, alone plus Merlin, obviously. But all the knights are like, I will go with you. She is my sister. And she's like, she is our queen. And they all stand up. And you're like, oh, it's so like that moment when they're all around the round table. And he's like, Merlin. And he's like, duh, of course. Of course I'm going to come, Arthur. I made you a promise. I'm never going to leave your side. So, yeah. Round table moment. And then all the epic music, like, they're off on an adventure. Merlin against I'm happy thus far. I'm happy thus far. Bring on the angst and doom. Because all the reviews are saying there's not really a happy ending. And there's rumors that someone was going to die. And I'm like, ugh. And so this is the turning point where there's still some lighthearted moments. And after this, it's all like, it's going to get depressing. And then you start seeing Gwen losing with a creepy Elian laughing. And then the Merlin yelling, and like a creepy Merlin, that would be terrible, because you don't get to see a dark Merlin a lot. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, though I guess the last episode I don't think he smiled at all. I don't know how much he really smiled in this episode either. You can tell the series is getting a lot darker, because like even last season they said it was darker, but there's a bit more smiles all around. When when Merlin was trying to assassinate Arthur that whole time, it was a hilarious, I can't talk, NH would be, right? A hilarious moment. That was a great episode. Mostly because Merlin's a terrible assassin. But, hold it together, Arthur. When he says that they've wasted a whole day, and you can tell he just wants to break down and be like, I can't find my wife! And she's going to be dying, and Merlin's like, come here, baby. I made a promise. I'll make it all better. We'll take care of you. I'll make decisions here. And I like how he started to take charge, and Arthur's just leaning on him, trusting him to do that. And then, when someone won't return, I'd already seen on Tumblr that people were suspecting it'd be Elian, because Gwen's in black and in mourning, and I guess she could do that for other knights too, but she didn't do for Lancelot. And so I started getting these feels that Elian was going to die, and I'm like, and then, oh, trust me this once. Oh, Merlin, when he says that, when he start to do his whole magic thing to lead him through, and he says, just trust me. I love it and hate it when he says that, because you know that's all he wants, is for Arthur to trust him. And how badly is that going to go when he finally does reveal his magic, and he's just going to say, Arthur, trust me, like, it's just what I've always wanted, I want you to trust the real me, and so every time he says something about it, I don't know, it gives me a little bit of some feels. I would have gotten out of those cloaks by now at some point. Those red cloaks that they're wearing, one, it must be cumbersome to journey through a forest with them on. As we saw with Gwen getting his ripped. And they got really wet for a while, so I imagine they'd be heavy and then not easy to maneuver in them. Because we're friends. Oh, Morgana. Morgana, you manipulative little person. I was like, what is you're trying to change her alliance, her allegiance? She loves Arthur. How are you going to do this? Like, I know you're already psychologically making it so the people that she loves the most, Elian, Merlin, and Arthur, scare her, or messing with her mind. Ah! And it just hurts my heart. So what is Morgana's plan with it exactly? And Mandrake's, I'm right. Trying to change allegiance. Smart Gwen. I like it when she says, I don't want anything to do with your plan. But then I was really curious into how she went from that room to being in a room with Morgana having enchanted a sword to protect her, so that was a little fishy. And I didn't quite believe it when Elian died. I was kind of in shock. Like, he got stabbed in the heart. And then he kept going, and you're like, hey, like, you know that's the person who's gonna have to die because someone's not gonna return, but at the same time, I'm like, you can't! And then I remembered that they did it to Lancelot. But I am like, I'm crying here. Why? And then you find out that she really is with Morgana right now, and so the feels that she has of her brother all crying and being proud, some of it could be real, and some of it could just be trying to manipulate the rest of the knights and Arthur, because she's with Morgana now, because Morgana has won this little game that she has, and it looks like from the previews that Gwen is going to be a lot better of an assassin than Merlin ever is, because Arthur may be poisoned in his bedroom and dead, and so, well, not quite dead, because Merlin has to save his life, because he can't be dead yet. It's gonna be the battle and Mordred and stuff. He has his own doom, but oh my goodness, the episode, like, when as soon as Elian died, I went numb. I'm like, what? And then after when they were all, I also have snuggling Arthur and Gwen, so go all those Arwen fans, I'm betting they liked that. GIF that away, or GIF, I guess I say GIF. Stupid. So make a lot of GIFs out of that, because this next episode's not going to be very Arwen-centered, so it seems, since she kind of hates him right now. And then you see her go to... So that gave me a little bit of feels, because that makes me, oh, look, you can tell they're married. They're all snuggled up to each other. But then she goes to Morgana, and you're like, no! Ah! And, yeah. So, Krista, I kind of live streamed it, so I don't have an episode up for you. But by the time you watch this, I guess, I'll have found one. But, oh my goodness! It's a good episode. Like, it was kind of kept me on the feel rate. My emotions didn't get out of control until, like, the last half. Like I said, as soon as Elian really died. But otherwise, it kept you on edge a lot of the time. But it wasn't, like, the last episode that killed me the entire episode. But good season so far. Good job on messing with me completely, and I'm looking forward to next week. Cause we're halfway done with the season. Weird. I'm gonna finish this video now and possibly go watch that video. Oh, I can't watch it right away because it takes forever to get on the internet here. We'll see if I can find a link and rewatch it and drown in my feels. But so I'll talk to you later. Bye.